to the Golden State's latest news, laws, and national stories. No fluff, no filter, just raw, honest takes on how these issues impact you. Tune in for truth, laughs, and bold perspectives. Let's get started.
All right, good evening, everyone. Let's go and get started. So our first topic of the night is going to be about the redistricting in California. Kick us off with that, Daniel.
Ooh, about that. So I hope every California knows that our Democrat governor, Gavin Newsom, he has a proposal to redistrict congressional lines top down the whole state of California. And for those that don't know, it's called gerrymandering. Gerrymandering is the term when you're trying to rig congressional lines to a particular party's favor. So Gavin Newsom. But here's the thing about California: a lot of Californians don't know. About 10 years ago, 15 years ago, Californians actually voted for a nonpartisan committee to address congressional district lines. So in present time, Governor Gavin Newsom, he's trying to bypass the voter, and they already have a proposed district line, and they already have it on the ballot. As a matter of fact, California law is supposed to be 120 days before the election. Now we're within 90 days, but because it's Democrat supermajority, they bypass all the red tape.
Yes, and this is like really concerning too. The way I see it, it's like, well, Texas is doing it, so can I, and I'm gonna do it. So ha ha ha. That's kind of how I see it. I mean, it's tit for tat, and this really sends a dangerous message to younger voters. I spoke at ABC 10 this past week.
I spoke with those in the county Republican Party and the San Diego Young Republicans about the move by the governor.
Well, I mean, it undermines democracy, really. Redistricting is about fair representation, not manipulating outcomes and benefits of the party. It sends a dangerous message saying that your vote only counts if you agree with us.
So what do you think about what I said?
Well, first of all, a little history lesson for all Californians. In the 1800s, like, correct me, I'm a California, not a Texan, but Texas used to be its own country. So they have their own constitution, state constitution that's separate, that's not like California's.
Mm-hmm.
California is structured as a republic that uses democracy. Texas has their own version, but in order for us to be a republic in California, the voters decide here. So Gavin Newsom is acting like the Democrats own California. As a matter of fact, there's many polls out there that suggest that Californians are against Gavin Newsom's proposed plan.
Yes, a lot of people I'm hearing are against it. I know I'm against it, but it doesn't matter what party you are in. It's gerrymandering regardless. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's how I see it. Um, it tells younger voters too that your vote doesn't matter. I own you. I own the state. And I don't know if you saw the congressional mapping. It's been kind of going around X right now of California. I forget which district it is, but one of the districts reaches from Vista down in San Diego all the way up to Palm Springs. It like cuts off, and then it's like a huge portion of like East Riverside County, which doesn't make sense to me. If you look it up, all these lines looks like a 5-year-old drew scribbles. So
it makes you think that who's really in charge of the Democrat Party and behind Gavin Newsom. And I believe the other side of the fork you're suggesting is Congressman Ken Calvert's district. They gerrymandered his district so bad, it looks like a spork on a map.
Yeah, it's ridiculous to me. And why are we doing this now? I think we're doing this now because not only because Texas is doing it, but also because Democrats know they're losing. Newsom knows he's going to lose. He's losing favorability. He's losing support, and I think they all know it. They know that a Republican, I guess, wave or resurgence, whatever you want to call it, renaissance, is coming their way, and they don't like it. They're trying to stop it.
Yes, and I'm gonna give you a couple things, a couple pointers. So the proposal bill, right? If it passes, okay, I want every Californian to know about it. it says that 2025 is going to be redistricted. It's going to be redistricted again in 2026 and again 2028 and again 2030. So what Newsom is proposing is for the redistrict, the gerrymandering, about 5 times, 4 or 5 times for the next 6 years or so.
That's ridiculous.
That's ridiculous. So, and the reason why is because they know that there's a giant, major political shift in the state of California, and there's hope for all Californians. And Gavin Newsom and the Democrat supermajority, they want to put a stop on it.
Hmm.
Another example of their controlling the power, they're currently in the state of California, there is a superintendent, um, sup, well, I forgot the name. You can help me out here. The superintendent of public instruction in California, and
Okay.
the candidate right now is Sonia Shaw.
Yeah.
Sonia Shaw, she's for parental rights, for students, for families, and the California Democrat cartel. They also have in the works in their committees a bill to no longer have that to be an elected position, but a nominated position.
Mm.
And this is another example how these Democrat supermajority cartels they're trying to rig things to their favor.
Yeah. No, they definitely are. It just kind of it sends, like I was saying, the wrong message. I don't understand really why people would continue, and I don't think it's very many. The media tries to swing it one way, but why a group, I'll say a group of people because I don't know the exact number, continue to support Democrats, to continue to support the state Democrats here in California and Newsom. What good has he done? And this goes to show he's not only trying to work in his favor, in Democrats' favor, but also he's kind of trying, I'm going to air quote trying because it's kind of a weak attempt at it, to show I am a toughie and I can be president in 2028. I mean, am I wrong? Come
No,
on.
you're not wrong. So, Gavin Newsom with his 50 so-called players behind him in the bleachers.
8 in 2030 for the congressional maps to respond to what's happening in Texas, to respond what Trump is trying to excite.
To me, that's a small show compared to what other elected officials have done. Thousands in their crowd. Gavin Newsom is one of the least favorable people in the whole entire country. And my prediction is that his proposed bill in a special election is going to be rejected by the California voter. And on top of that, this special election is going to be the most expensive special election in California taxpayer history. So to summarize it, it's about 240, 250 million of taxpayer money, as well as about 5 million to 10 million of taxpayer lawsuits costs.
Yeah. Gosh. It's ridiculous to me. I don't think people are going to vote in favor of this. They think that they're going to, but I don't think they will. I know I'm not going to, so I will say that. But any final thoughts on that?
I want all Californians to know to please vote no on this. You want your voice to be heard, and you don't want your voice to be drowned out by some rigged, fake democracy system that Gavin Newsom's proposing. And that's why I yield to say my piece.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. And I guess we're gonna have to see in the coming days what happens next. But he's gonna be campaigning a lot for, I'm sure, within the next couple weeks or to months, ahead of November, well into November actually. So, but kind of going forward here, AB 1127, that is called the Glock ban bill. What do you think about this? Do you know anything about it?
Just the name already sounds horrendous.
Yeah.
It's
So
another.
essentially it's another loophole or backdoor, whatever you want to call it, to have more restrictive laws against guns, which we already have the most restrictive laws against guns and handguns and shotguns and all that. So
This is another attempt by the same people,
Hmm.
the Democrat supermajority, trying to infringe on our constitutional right to bear arms. It's under the United States of America Constitution for all Americans. Okay, the right to bear arms, and this is another Democrat ploy game plan to take that away from us.
Yep. It infringes on our Second Amendment rights. I don't know how I feel about our current gun laws already. I think there's a lot that we could I think could loosen up a little bit, not trying to say like, oh, every single person in the state can or should have a gun. I think there's people who should not have those certain weapons in their possession, but at the same time, you can't restrict law-abiding citizens who want to protect themselves, especially women, especially young women like me, um, where it's a dangerous world out there when you're by yourself and you're going through downtown at night by yourself, or you're going into a parking lot or parking garage. You never know what's going to happen, so it's best to have something to protect yourself than to allow yourself to be victimized.
I believe that California is one of the few states in the whole country right now where where they make it so hard to defend yourself
Hmm.
that they make it kind of illegal to defend yourself. And on top of that, they also make it so hard for our law enforcement. You know, God bless the blue. They make it so hard for the law enforcement to even protect the public.
Hmm.
There's certain scenarios where law enforcement cannot protect it because the state prohibits that. Gavin Newsom and his cronies, they do their best to make it hard for law enforcement to protect and serve.
Hmm. Yeah. I think there was within the past year or two, there's two new laws that were placed for cops that they can't ask you why. Do you know why I pulled you over? And there's another one too, which just goes to show it makes it a lot harder for police to do their jobs. I think these kind of laws, and whether that's gun laws, whether that's um, for immigration, whatever, all these laws that are really going into effect in California are siding with criminals and people who break the law, which should not be the thing. Um, it should be laws going into place to protect law-abiding citizens, legal Californians, not criminals and not people who are, uh, you know, getting like coming here illegally, committing crimes, thinking they're going to get off early. Um, so we need somebody who's going to remove these laws because it's doing more harm than good.
Agreed. Right now in California, so there, for people who don't know, there's a gubernatorial race going on
Yes.
statewide, and one of the
Hmm.
candidates is Riverside County Sheriff Chad Bianco. So
Yes.
Chad Bianco is the sheriff of Riverside County. He knows all about protect and serve. He does his elected as an elected official sheriff. He's protected the people of Riverside. He knows the ins and outs of the jails, how to protect and serve the public. He's the guy, and he's trying to
Hmm.
replace Gavin Newsom as governor. And I think he should be the people's choice for the next governor of California.
I definitely agree. I grew up in Riverside County actually, so I've gotten to know what he stands for really well. I loved what he did during COVID and during 2020. I loved what he said. I loved how he handled the whole pandemic. I think he is a real strong leader. Um, he's been a great sheriff, so I think he would be a really, really good governor, actually. So, but I was just kind of pulling up some facts here about AB 1127, the Glock ban bill, and just to kind of, there's a lot of points here, a lot of facts,
Ooh,
but just a
let the
couple.
people know. Ooh, I like that. Let the people
I'm
know.
gonna give. I'm pulled up some facts, so I got a couple pointers here. Um, First off, it blocks the sale of new firearms designed to accept conversion devices. It also affects firearm manufacturers and retailers. So people who are making and selling guns are more restricted, or going to be more restricted if this goes into effect. At least 70% of all handguns will be affected by this bill. Um, like I said, it impacts law-abiding gun owners. It's redundancy as well to existing laws. It's another reason to just ban guns, to keep weapons and guns out of the hands of Californians. Let's see, what else? There's quite a bit here. So, uh, supporters of the bill, they claim it addresses public safety concerns, when in reality, it doesn't, but rather gives the government more control over a person's weapons. Like I said, infringes on
Well,
Second Amendment rights.
well, in the first part, it literally sounds like anti-business,
Mm-hmm.
anti-capitalistic, where it's making it so hard for a store to sell their product to a consumer, essentially impossible.
Yeah.
And what that bill, the first part of the bill actually does is it makes it hard to function as a business, start a business in California.
Yeah.
And I'm so against that. I hope you feel the same way, Mac.
Oh, I definitely do. I know Republicans claim that it's a feel good, or they're saying Democrats are saying it's a feel good bill, but really, what this bill is, it's out of fear. It's being created out of fear.
Yes,
That's
it's a favorite ploy, the favorite tactic that the supermajority in Sacramento they do. They use fear to fearmonger Californians,
mm-hmm.
And that should be noted, and all Californians should know that.
Yeah. That's no way to govern. That's no way. Because if when you're operating under fear, you you don't act in the best interest of the public. Because bills like this are going to be more restrictive of our American rights.
Absolutely agree with you on right there. Absolutely.
Yeah. And I also want to point out too, this also goes hand in hand with AB 1078, um, which is a 3 and 30 limit, AB 1263, which attacks ghost guns and files, and then also SB 704, it ties to this as well, which looks at to have to do with like barrel background checks. What do you know what I mean by that?
More, more sounds like more barriers.
Yes.
More,
So
more
it's
attempts.
yeah. Mm-hmm. So
It sounds like more infringement. And they're stepping on American constitutional rights.
So if you want a gun, I suggest don't get it in California. Just go to another state and don't come back with it because they'll have to get it registered here anyways. It's so. What is the I guess time frame to get a gun in California? Do you know?
I believe what I heard from a couple sources, maybe 5 to 6 months or so, and that's
Mm.
fast.
Yeah, fast. I think in Arizona you can take it home the same day, if I'm not mistaken. So I could be wrong about that, but that's what I've kind of heard before.
Agreed.
So, I mean, I understand like wanting to protect and like uh, lessen the amount of school shootings, but I feel like school shootings also don't happen as often as Democrats say they do.
Yeah, agreed. School shootings is another fear tactic they use.
Mm-hmm.
It's, I believe you said not so. It's not coming at all. And the people that actually do, the offenders, in other words, it's questionable of their backgrounds in regarding that, whether they're on hormonal treatment or they're copycat criminals.
Yeah. Are you in favor of background checks or against it? Because I know a lot of I guess conservative states, red states, or conservative people believe that background checking, and I'm not saying one specific, but background checking people kind of infringes again on our rights. Do you think it does?
I believe that federal law, that there's currently mechanisms per federal law of background checks federally.
Mhm.
So with the state of California passing on these gun control bills on state level, is adding on to that current mechanism of making it harder for Americans to be gun owners.
Mhm. Yeah. Last I checked, this is America. This isn't China. We have rights here that our founding fathers um fought for essentially. Well, not really fought for, but like gave to us because they fled the UK. The Is it a monarchy? I feel
Yeah.
like I'm so dumb when it comes to that. Is it a monarchy in the UK? I
It's a
forget.
monarchy. It's a monarchy in the UK,
Yeah,
but I believe a lot of California is called California Comufornia.
yeah. So, but what I'm trying to say is, we've had these rights for a reason. Um, Whether you agree with them or not, I think we should have the Second Amendment. We should have the right to bear arms, and definitely the freedom of speech. And I know Democrats, they want to silence us. They want to silence conservatives because they disagree. They want to say, oh, conservatives are silencing them, but in reality, it's the other way around.
Yes,
Yeah.
and what California should know is that the whole point of right bear arms is protect yourself in
Mm-hmm.
times and situations where law enforcement's not there and you really need to protect yourself.
Yes.
And also I believe most importantly, the whole point of right to bear arms is for us to protect ourselves and from any certain invasion from a foreign entity. And that includes, and another good example is the whole Ukraine Russia war. A lot of people don't know this, but in Ukraine, they're not allowed to own guns. So the citizens over there couldn't necessarily defend themselves from Russia's invasion. I believe that leads us to the next topic at hand, right?
Yep.
What's making national headlines is Trump and Putin meeting at the big summit in Alaska. So
Mm-hmm.
for Californians don't know, so Russian President Vladimir Putin, he's in America, he's in the U.S. right now in Alaska, and Trump's in Alaska right now to have high level peace talks about Ukraine war and many more.
So reports are suggesting that because I didn't take questions from reporters, and then I was just looking this up prior to our podcast tonight. Um, there was People are saying there was no indication that they had any agreements, which means that there's no immediate ceasefire in the Ukraine war, among other uh, big issues right now. Um, what are your thoughts on that? Do you think there will come to an agreement eventually?
You know what? I believe there's going to be an agreement eventually. I'm optimistic. I
Mm-hmm.
hope so. Trump won the election, and one of his promises were about peace in Ukraine, between Ukraine and Russia. And I believe many Americans, and Californians including, are optimistic about that approach as well.
Mm-hmm. Well, here's the thing, though. If Trump was in office, I'm gonna make 2 points here. If Trump was in office, first thing, this story would have never happened. The war with in the Middle East and the war with Ukraine and Russia would have never happened under Trump. Um, I think he has done more international good. He's made a stronger impact internationally with foreign leaders than Biden has ever done. Um, because this is coming to my second point too, is the Biden administration was a weak administration. When it comes to Trump, he's a businessman. So he's going to be matter of fact about it. And I think we're coming back finally to a stronger America. Again, America first. And I think our world leaders are seeing that. And I think Putin knows it. Um, I'm not going to speak too much on the relationship between Trump and Putin because I don't know too much about it. However, I think this meeting in Alaska is a step in the right direction.
Yes, I believe that no war started under Trump's first presidency,
Mm-hmm.
and during the Biden presidency administration, that I don't believe that Biden or Putin have ever met. As a matter of fact, I believe that allegedly that their hotline between the two countries became kind of on pause, and that's real bad if you're trying to create peace and ceasefire between two countries.
Yeah.
So again, as an American, I'm optimistic of a ceasefire, or at the very least the beginning to some peace talks.
Definitely. Like I said, this is a step in the right direction. And also, let's remind everybody the Afghanistan withdrawal. What was that? Like, do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
Do you remember that? That
the
was
the
horrendous.
horrendous, the very horrendous.
Horrendous.
Yeah, yeah.
So funny. We're on the same wavelength with with the same word. But yeah, it was horrendous. It was disgusting to see. That should have again never happened. There's a lot of things that we could go on and on and on and on about tonight that went wrong under Biden. People are like, "Oh, we don't want Trump." People didn't want Trump so badly that they were going to put this geriatric Alzheimer, and I'm making a bold statement right now, but a lot of people are going to agree with me. He was unfit to be, I think he was a senator before, among other offices he held. He was unfit to be a vice president, and obviously, come to show, was unfit to be a president. Will Democrats try to revive him, resuscitate him for something else? I hope not. I hope people are not that stupid. But then, you never know.
You never know nowadays, right?
No. I mean, I know people are pushing Newsom to be the front runner for the next presidential race. I'm confident Vance is going to be, though. I don't think, or at least I don't really know, who else would be a strong position for that, other than myself. But I'm just, you know, I favor myself.
Yeah.
No, yeah, no, I will pass on that. That's a lot of responsibility. That's too much responsibility for me.
Well, let's save our state, right? The state of California.
Yeah. You can count on me for that, but presidential wise, I'll give it to somebody else, so.
So again, I hope by the end of this weekend that there's some peace talks, agreed on between U.S., Russia, and Ukraine and other nations, and I hope the whole world gets to breathe a sigh of relief, right?
No, I definitely agree. Yeah, oh my gosh. I feel like there was quite a bit going on this week, but also not at the same time. What else have you been seeing in the news lately? What's been going on in your area? Any update?
Well, Friday, I believe, in the morning, there was an earthquake. A lot of residents felt the shake here.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, I believe that in the next coming days, there's a couple bills in Sacramento, regarding AB 884, AB 495, and there's going to be a huge mobilization from Californians top down the state to protest about these bills in front of the state capitol.
Can you remind everybody what those two bills are? Just kind of summarizing.
summarize them, right? So AB 495 is a horrendous bill, based on the language. And again, like they make the narrative about it, on the Democrat side, it's for immigrant families. But as a matter of fact, based on the language, any stranger could take your kid out of school. And as a parent,
That's
I
scary.
oppose it. Many parents oppose it, but again, the average Californian does not know about what's happening in Sacramento.
Mm-hmm. I'm scared for that bill. I really, really, really hope that doesn't go into effect. Um, because I know we talked about this in our last episode, but just to kind of remind everybody about what it is, this is a very serious bill. Authors of the bill wants to claim that it just addresses the immigrant children, illegal children, but in reality, it doesn't state that in the bill. Republicans are pointing that out, and what this does, it's like you were saying, it allows stranger adults to take children from their parents if they deem it unfit. So that means a fifth grade teacher, could take a young girl away whose parents aren't allowing them to transition. That teacher could then say, well, he or she is unfit or unsafe to be with those parents. I'm gonna I'm gonna take them, or I'm gonna have so and so take them. It kind of ties into the transgender issue where schools are um, don't have to notify parents of children wanting to transition. So this is a very scary thing. This is a very real thing, and it's a very serious thing.
Agreed.
We need to protect our kids. And Democrats don't do that. They're not doing that. They're allowing the mutilation of young children, as young as probably, I guess, 2 years old. Because I've seen videos on the internet of these crazy mothers saying, oh, well, my son and my daughter figured out they're a boy at 2 years old. Or they're really a girl at 2 years old. No 2-year-old knows who the heck they are. They barely know that they exist, first of all. So they just eat poop, walk around. Like what 5-year-old, 2-year-old is gonna know that? Oh, I'm not really a boy. I'm not really a girl. I know we talked about before how we go through phases, and so if you're cutting off body parts at 14 years old, you're gonna grow up to 30, 40 years old. You're gonna have serious medical issues.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think we need to all get together. People need to sign petitions or um, host rallies or groups, volunteer groups, canvassing against this, urging people to vote against this. Wow. Well, I know we covered a lot today, so we're going to go ahead and wrap it up for the night. I know we didn't have anyone to interview today, but that's okay sometimes. We're just going to talk our heads off and just listen to us rant. But, Daniel, who do we have next week?
We have a special guest next week, and it's going to be a mystery, and we're going to do a sneak peek for our audience as a promo to help market and let the audience know. It's going to be a big, good surprise.
Awesome. Well, I'm looking forward to it, and just want to let everybody know that our podcast uploads and airs 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time every Monday night. So make sure to tune in on YouTube, X, Instagram, and I believe we're on Rumble as well. So mark your calendars, do whatever you gotta do to remember that we have California Unfiltered every Monday night, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Well, thank you for everyone for tuning in tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.